Our guest today is Carrie. Carrie is a psychic business consultant. And guys, I planned this episode for you to have a little bit more spooky before Halloween. So I am really excited she's in the show with us. She has encountered the first spirit in her life at age 4. But guys, she's also a very, very serious entrepreneur. She has been running this business for 6 years now, and she has been in the business life for more than 20 years. So she has for sure a lot to tell to us. So Carrie, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here. Very excited.
Thank you. I am Zsofia of Myprocesses, and I help busy entrepreneurs to automate and outsource their time-consuming tasks without sacrificing the profit. So if you are looking to make the 4-hour work week a reality or just simply avoid burnout, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when I release a new video like this. So, Carrie, what does a psychic business consultant do?
So it's very different, I think, from what normal people do. And sometimes it's very eerie or sometimes it can even be uncomfortable for people. So there's a lot of things that I do. Now, you mentioned that I was psychic. So I just want to explain a little bit of what that means for people who are not sure. And especially it's funny to hear that I'm a business consultant, but I'm a psychic. So I want to explain that as well. So I hear spirit, I talk to spirit, I can see spirit, I read energy, I can see what happened in your past. So this life and the past of this life and past lives, and I can see what is projected to happen in your future. Both stuff that's guaranteed to happen and stuff that is potential to happen, because we as humans here have the ability to make choices and change the future based on the actions that we take. But there are some things in our life that are guaranteed that are going to happen because they're fated. They're things that are part of our bigger plan or things that are part of, our bigger destiny. So because I have these abilities, I use them in order to help people to be able to make the right choices, invest in the right avenue in business, hire the right person, to be able to discern how much money they should be charging for a program. So all of that stuff can be answered based on reading energy, based on talking to guides. So guides are people in the spirit world who help you along your path. Everybody has them, and they have that blueprint of what you would like to happen in your life and what you're meant to do. They kind of have that in front of them. So they help you to make choices that are the right choices or most aligned choice for you and your business. So I tune into my abilities and get answers for you for any questions. Like, let's say that I had a client once, just as an example, who was looking to partner with somebody else in his industry. And he came to me and he said, listen, I have this partner. They're bringing a lot of money to the table. They want to invest. They want to do X, Y, and Z. And I said to him, although it sounds really, really great, this is not a fit. And I told him all about the person and what would happen if they did partner up, and what I saw happening if he chose not to. And he was a little bit hesitant. And my thing is that I always say to people, you make your decision. I'm going to tell you what I see, but ultimately it's your business. It's not mine. So he came back to me about 3 months later and he was like, you have no idea how happy am I listened to you. He's like, because the person I was going to invest with is now doing all this other stuff that I don't agree with. So it's things that we might not have ever seen coming, that were just like, if I didn't know this, and if you didn't tell me this, I would have invested in something that I would have lost a lot of money and been really unhappy, and then probably would have had, and would have had legal action that needed to be taken later to dissolve the partnership. So it's really great in the sense that it helps you to, it's like using a heightened version of your own intuition. But oftentimes people have a hard time tapping into their intuition, or they don't trust it, especially when we're talking big monies and big investments.
So it's basically about figuring out the intuitions you have regarding a situation and like putting it into normal words, which like most of us cannot really do because they all stay as intuitions, but for you it's more clear, right?
Correct. Yeah. It's like I'm talking to you, but I'm talking to somebody who you can't see. And also I'm a medium. So if like dead people, I talk to dead people all the time. I was in a call the other day and I was answering questions for people, and all of a sudden I saw a lady, and she wasn't really in my office. She was a person who had a grandmother of a client that I was seeing later on in that day, who had shown up and was waiting to talk to her granddaughter. And so she just patiently she was just walking back and forth in my office. So like that happens often as well. And it will happen when I'm working with business people, because let's say that there's something you're struggling with. Let's say that you have a money block and you can't get past this fear of asking for, more than $30,000 for a program that you have, but you're meant to, and your program is worth that. Well, if part of your money block comes from an ancestral lineage, your grandmother might come forward to share that she was very worried about money, and she put this burden on the family regarding money, but it's time that you let that burden go. And you hearing that and her being able to give you really concrete information, like maybe she would share that in the family, she always had to go without to make sure that her kids had stuff. So that put a perspective of money and wealth on you, that it's important that you heal to move through, so you can charge $30,000-$40,000 for, like an intensive or a program or an offer that you have. So departed loved ones is what we call them. People call them dead people or ghosts. They'll come forward to share information that's really valuable to you in you moving forward in your business, your personal life, whatever it is.
That's fascinating. I would assume that it works with the energy. So you have to meet the person in person to be able to do that. And now with the COVID, it isn't really possible. Does it work remotely, like you and me sitting together on Zoom?
Yeah, no, I don't ever have to see the person. You could tell me like, let's say that you had an employee and we could even be talking on the phone. I don't have to see you. You don't even have to speak to me. You could write me a letter. You could write me an email and say, I'm really struggling with my office because the management of it is really poor. And that's all I need to know. And I will say to you, or you can just say that my office is not running smoothly. I've worked with people with offices that remember this specific one is popping in my head. It was a health office, and they were saying how it was running so poorly. And I said, well, the person that you have managing it is actually creating a lot of drama inside your office. And what's happening is that it's almost like you versus everybody else in the office. You need to move the person who's in charge out of being in charge. You need to hire somebody new to come in. It's going to be, a male. He's going to step forward probably about 3 months worth of time. And this male is going to have these characteristics and these qualities. You also, whoever's doing your sales needs more support and needs more training. I don't need to know anybody else. I read the energy. I don't ever need to see you. And I work 99% of the work I do is virtual. I don't go and meet people in person. It just takes so much more time, and I don't need to.
And how reliable is that? Has it ever occurred that you were not right or made a
very rarely? Very rarely. I am 99.9% of the time I'm right. The only thing, so I'll tell you when I am wrong. I'll give you an example. So there's plenty of people that I've said to, okay, I see you writing a book. I see you expanding your business or whatever it is. And people will come back to me and say, I didn't write the book. And I'll say, okay, did you make time to write it? And they're like, well, no. I'm like, well, how do you expect to write a book if you don't make time to write it? So I'll give you things that you have to do in order to do that. But if you don't take action on it, it's not magic. It doesn't just appear. But there's been plenty of people that I've said, okay, you're meant to write a book. This woman reached out to me recently because I had told her that probably about 2 years ago. She's like, I literally just finished the book. It's published and I'm using it for marketing material and it is incredibly successful. And the only reason I did it is because you said to do it. And it has been the most powerful thing. So that type of stuff, people will come back and say, that's not right. And I've had people, I remember I was channeling for somebody once. I call it channeling is what it is. It's reading the energy, but channeling is the word I use. And I said, so I see this as in a situation where your grandmother is really impacting this, and your relationship with her when you were little, you missed her. When she died, you missed her. And she was like, that's not possible. My grandmother died before I was born. And I said, okay, but this is what they're telling me. So I have to go with this. So I'm just telling you, when you were 5 years old, your relationship with your grandmother was really impacted. And she's like, okay, and she messaged me 2 days later and said, I had no idea my grandmother died when I was 5. She said, I don't even remember it. I thought she died before I was born. I never remembered her. So like, even though the person was telling me I was wrong, I wasn't wrong. I was dead right, but they weren't aware of bigger things because they didn't remember it. She said she went and asked her mom because it just kept eating at her that I had told her this. So I've given people advice to, a woman came to me once and said, I'm looking to ask for a raise. And and she was going to ask for a $5,000 raise. I said, absolutely not. Ask for a $12,000 raise. And she's like, are you sure? I said, yeah, they just keep showing me $12,000. You need to ask for a $12,000 raise. And I said to her, don't just go in there and ask for the $12,000 raise. This is what you need to do in order to do it. Work on this, approach it this way. Show them what you've been able to do. She messaged me back 3 weeks later and she said, I got the $12,000 raise. So she basically gave her an extra $7,000 for one question that she asked me. So it is very rarely that I couldn't tell you a time that I was wrong.
Okay, really fascinating stories. I usually ask my guests that what were their initial difficulties starting the business, but I can't resist to ask that, wasn't it scary initially when you started to see ghosts?
Well, no, that wasn't scary. I'll tell you the scariest part about this. I think because I always say, and I do business stuff, but I also do, which we can talk about, and I can give you guys a little bit of detail, it makes it a little bit spooky. I've cleared people's houses. I work with, like, if a house is haunted, I've cleared houses. I've cleared people who have attachments from ghosts, we'll call them, but they're called entities. So what was actually scarier for me, because I've been doing this my whole life, I shut it off and kind of ignored that I was doing it. I didn't realize I was doing it because nobody told me that other people don't see these. So like, my childhood home has a ghost in it. And I would constantly say to my mom, the lady keeps coming out of the attic and she keeps wanting to talk to me. And my mom would say things like, that's okay. Like, but my mom was just so busy that she didn't even realize that, like, what she was saying, or she'd be like, okay, Carrie, I'll talk to you later, like, go away, or you're just dreaming, stop daydreaming, whatever. So I thought that either one, she knew that there was a lady in the house too, and it wasn't a big deal, because I would just, she was busy. My mom ran a company, and there was a lot of things going on, a lot of different people around all the time. And so nobody ever told me what I was doing was wrong. So I grew up seeing these. One of my best friends died when I was 5. I never stopped seeing her. I could see her. And then part of me was like, oh, maybe I'm just imagining her, but she was so clear to me. So what I realized is that other people later on in my early 30s, I realized that other people don't have this. Other people don't talk to guides. They don't have people giving them answers inside of their head. So it was never scary to me because I've always done this. But what was scary to me was telling people that I did it. Was telling people, because for 34 years, I had never uttered a word of what I was hearing, seeing, feeling. I would share the information I got, but nobody asked me where I got it from. And I would share it in a way that was kind of like, oh, I think you should do this, or this is what's best for the company. I ran a corporation with 6 companies in it, and I managed all of them. And everybody would come to me for any question they had. For one, I was their boss, but for 2, I always had the right answer. Nobody ever asked me why I had the right answer, ever. They didn't care. I had the right answer.
That you know it.
They just accepted that I knew it. And sometimes I'd be like, wow, I hope that was the right answer, but let's keep going. And we would just keep going. I never questioned where it came from until I finally started questioning what the heck is going on. And then I started digging in. So I worked in, like, the corporate world, and everybody in my family knew me for who I was. And then all of a sudden one day I was like, I have to start telling people that I see things, that I hear things, that I know about them. I can, like, I'm sitting here with you, and I can see that you're sitting in it looks, on my coloring anyway, looks like it's a gray chair, a yellow pillow. You have like a coral color shirt on. So we can all see that. When I read energy, when I see somebody, I also see, I see insecurities. I see where they struggle in life. I see what they truly believe about people. And I have my entire life. So if an adult would say something when I was a child, I would blur it out, and I would get in trouble often because I would say, but that's a lie. You're not happy with this. That's not it. And I got in trouble all the time for it in school or in organizations because I would say what I truly saw until I learned to not do that.
So
And I
you
learned
kind of
very quickly.
you learned to suppress it during
Yeah.
your
But I
career.
didn't not see it. I still saw it. I was just like, whatever. Like somebody would say, oh my God, I'm so happy. I'm so excited. But what I see is the fear underneath. I see the fakeness. I see that they're not really happy. They're really hurting inside. And I see that in everything. As long as I can shut it off so I don't see it. I can just block it or ignore it. Like I can walk through a store and someone can be like, what color shirt was that person wearing? And you can be like, I don't know, I didn't really see it, even though it's right there for us. That's how I can do with my abilities. So telling people that I've known for years that I'm psychic, or that I can talk to their, you know, their deceased mother or their deceased child, was very hard, because I felt as if they didn't believe me. I felt as if they were going to doubt what I was saying. So coming out of like that spiritual closet, and people have their own beliefs about psychics. You know, I did what, you know, like because I never considered myself a psychic, and I would see what some psychics were doing, like on TV, or palm readers or crystal ball readers. And it would be like, but that's fake. They're not really doing that, because I would know the information wasn't accurate as to what they were saying. So I even had a not so favorable view of psychics. And you see like psychic readings for $5, and you see these, it's almost like a gimmick or like entertainment. And so for me to then say, coming out of a professional world and really being proud of what I had created and what I can create in the business world, it was very hard for me to then bring like this not so serious aspect in and make it normalized and allow people to see what it can do, how important and how special it is if it's used correctly and honestly. Because I'm telling you information that sometimes cannot be validated unless you take action on it. I'm telling you things that you have to just trust me to believe in. That's serious. So it wasn't what I was going to see. It was the level of integrity and respect from other people that I was worried about.
And is this the hardest part, starting a psychic business, or is it the marketing part? What were your initial difficulties with the business itself?
Yeah, a little, you're right. It was definitely marketing because of what I do. I also am a spiritual teacher, which means, in the sense that, I know a lot of people use that word, but it's about getting back to who you really are on that soul level. I'm a psychic. That's who I am. So every time I pretended that I wasn't, my business wasn't successful. Every single time that I would, you know, that I would market myself as just a business consultant or even an intuitive business consultant, I would get very little activity in my business. And my guides would say, because I use my guides on a daily basis, and my guides would say, you must call yourself a psychic. And I was like, but I don't want to call myself a psychic. And they'd be like, you must do it. Until I literally said, I'm a psychic, nothing unfolded. So, and it wasn't just about using those words, it was about believing them, like believing in myself. Like you asked me, how often am I wrong? I had to up my level of belief in myself so other people believe me. And it's like that. Like if you're selling something, it's like that in every area. Like if you don't believe in what you're selling, it's very hard to sell it. Where if you believe in what it is that you're producing, what it is that you're selling, what it is that you're offering, what it is that you're doing, it attracts other people who believe it. It feeds them this energy of belief. And with the psychic world and the energy world, you must have an elevated level of belief in yourself. For one, if you don't believe in yourself, the people you're working with are going to feel that and they're going to not trust. But for two, when you're working in the psychic energy, if you don't believe yourself, you block your connection. So it's even harder to get information back and forth. So like if I were to ask a question, I might not get the answer, or it might be the wrong answer because I'm blocking myself because of lack of belief.
With all these sensing energies and all these things going on around you, how do you stay effective in a daily life, in a normal business day?
I have to really take care of my energy, which means that I have to be aware of how I'm feeling. I have to be aware of whether I feel balanced. Everybody, we are energy bodies. So we have energy all throughout us and around us. Every single person does, whether you're psychic or not. We have these things called chakras, and they're energy centers within the body. There's 7 of them, main ones. And so I make sure my chakras are clear and balanced. I ground my energy often. I make sure I'm connected. I make sure, you know how, have you ever left a place where somebody was really negative and you just feel like, ugh, like you just feel like their energy is on you or their negativity is on you?
That's
So
right. I
whenever
think
I,
all of us could
yeah,
sense this kind of negative energies from people who are like
exactly.
pessimistic or really just says that you cannot do it or don't believe in you, don't believe in themselves. So that's really, really hard on us, I guess.
Yeah. And that, not just the words that impact us, but the words come with an energy and the energy sticks to you. And so multiple times a day, and especially if I'm doing like clearings or stuff like that, I do my own energy maintenance, which means I make sure I'm balanced, I make sure I'm grounded, I make sure other people's energy are not on mine. So I do a lot of energy work. And this is important because it's like a filter. I need to keep my filter clear so that when I'm receiving information, it's crystal clear and it's not impacted by like my beliefs or somebody else's beliefs or even the person's belief. Like I've had a lot of people say to me, can you channel on this situation? They ask me a question and I'll answer it. And they're saying, no, but let me tell you the details of it. Like, I don't need the details because that's your opinion of it. I'm reading the energy around the situation. I'm reading the truth of the situation. And I'll say, you can tell me the details, but the answer is not going to change. Even if personally, as a non-psychic, I would be like, oh my gosh, you're so right. I can see that. But that's why we get so many things wrong in life, is because we allow our emotions or our opinions, our desires, our perspective of a situation to impact us instead of the actual truth.
We are
And
always
like,
biased. So that's
yeah,
the hard with the business decisions. That's why you cannot really step out your emotions or your biased views or, just the views on the world, how you think about it.
correct. Like somebody could say, they could be talking to a coach and they could say, what's the best way to grow my life coaching business? And the coach could say, well, so many people I know are so successful using Instagram. You've got to use Instagram. But if I were to channel for them, I don't care what everybody else has done. It's not about everybody else. You're not attracting everybody else's client. So what's in alignment for you? What kind of time do you have? What kind of content are you great at putting out? How do your clients absorb content? From there, I channel on what is the best place for you to show up and promote your business. And it could be Pinterest, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever it is. But people who don't have the ability to read energy, they go off of tried and true. But tried and true doesn't work for everybody. Yes, is it a great place to start? 100%. But if we have this added benefit of asking and saying which is most in alignment for this person with this program, with these clients, the energy will tell us what it is.
Okay. We already had a hypnotherapist here in this show who did a little bit of hypnosis on me. So it was really, really interesting.
Yeah.
And if I wouldn't ask it, I would keep just wonder, what would you say? So
Yeah.
I need to ask, do you feel anything, see anything around here for me, maybe just to show
So
the
for
others?
you, yeah, I can do some channeling if you would like me to do that. So so what they are showing me is that they're showing me that there's maybe you've entered recently into like this new business direction. There's been a lot of questions around it. There's been a lot of hesitation around it, and it feels incredibly hard to get it started, but it feels like it's a really deep passion for you. And it feels like before you entered into it, there was questions like you ran it by everybody almost, but then there was this feeling of like needing to keep it really close to you because a lot of people were saying, no, it's not going to go. Why are you risking that? Why are you going off on this? Why are you going off on a new direction? Why aren't you just staying with the things that you're doing? Also feel like whatever it is that you're started right now, you have only scratched the surface on it. And I feel as if you haven't even allowed other people, I feel as if when you were telling people what you wanted to do, you actually pulled back and you only shared just like 10% of that, 10% of 100, I guess we'll go with, of what it is that you truly want to do. But you keep pulling back on the vision is what they're telling me, that there's a really big vision that you have, but you keep pulling back on it. And they're saying you need to allow that vision to expand. Also feel as if there's this belief that you've got to bring more people in, and they're telling me you don't. They're telling me that you're not supposed to partner with it. This is like your baby, and you're supposed to allow it to expand and you're the only person that can make it go, because you're the only one who truly sees the vision for it. Does that make sense?
It does. It absolutely does. Yeah, I do have a big vision about what I am doing, because I consider this whole story as a freedom project for my clients, for myself, and for the people who I work with, because there need to be people I interact with. But I was wondering if I should bring them as kind of a partners. And
No,
what you
no
say, that is
partnership.
no. Okay.
Yeah, no partnership.
Okay. That gave me a little bit of goosebump, what you have said.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All
Yeah.
right. Okay. We are kind of running out of time, but you
Yeah.
really, really fascinated me with the stories and the abilities, and that what you just showed to me right now here.
Yeah.
So guys, make sure if you have any question about your business and life, make sure to contact Carrie. I think that's the right time of the year to be prepared for the next coming year. And I'm so happy you have been here with us. And maybe just as a last question, I ask it from everyone, and I am sure you have another viewpoint. So a lot of people listening to us, hopefully, who are wondering to start a business, what would be your number one tip for them before they start a business?
Oh my gosh. I would say get clear on what you want to do, but don't hold yourself to that. Meaning that have an idea, but allow it to expand to what it's supposed to be. We have these expectations or perceptions of it, and we get it so tight that as we start to build our business, if it doesn't look exactly how we think it's going to, we get upset, we get mad at ourselves, instead of enjoying the process and trusting in it. Everyone wants to know what their purpose is. Your purpose continues to expand and to grow as you put one foot in front of the other. And don't give up. Don't give up. Things will look as if they're not working out. They'll look as if it's not going the way you want it to. And then all of a sudden, doors will open that you never expected. Things will happen. Things will unfold. And you just have to keep going. Just keep going and be open to see what's available to you.
That's a very unique answer. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it in my life, and also I hope you guys find it useful. So keep going and enjoy the process. Thank you so much, Carrie, for sharing this with us.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.